Welcome to the Global Warwatch Network. Hey everyone, if you want to stay on top of global military developments, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now today, we're getting into something pretty intense, a hidden war being fought for control of the world's oceans.
You know, that quote really just hits the nail on the head. For decades, the deep ocean was this ultimate hiding place for some of the world's most powerful weapons. But that's all changing, and fast. There's this new, high-stakes competition for control down there, and it's literally reshaping global power as we speak.
Exactly. And look, while a lot of countries have submarines, this whole contest really just boils down to a three-way race. We're talking about the United States, China, and Russia. They are the big players here, and as we're about to see, each one of them is bringing a totally different strategy to this underwater fight. And here's a snapshot of their core philosophies. The US is betting on having the best tech. That's their qualitative edge. China, on the other hand, is just flexing its massive industrial might to build more submarines faster than anyone else. And then you have Russia, which is all about packing its subs with an absolutely staggering amount of firepower. These three very different approaches, well, they define the whole game.
Right, and these numbers tell such a fascinating story. I mean, sure, the US still has a commanding lead with about 71 nuclear subs, but look at those other two bars. For the first time ever, China has officially blown past Russia to become the world's second largest operator. That is a huge shift in the undersea balance of power.
And that shift takes us straight to China. Honestly, their naval expansion is happening at a speed the world has never seen. It's a genuine fundamental challenge to decades of Western naval dominance.
32. That number right there is the whole story. It's not just that they've overtaken Russia's long-established fleet, it's the incredible speed at which they did it. This is a clear signal that they are dead serious about projecting power far, far beyond their own coastlines.
And this is the engine behind that growth, a 1+2 production rate. Every single year, their shipyards are rolling out one brand new ballistic missile sub and two new attack subs. Just to give you some perspective, that's an industrial pace the U.S. Navy itself is struggling to achieve, and they're hoping to get there by 2028.
This chart really puts that industrial power on display. First off, just look at the raw numbers at the bottom. China now has more ships in the Pacific, period. But the real story is when you look at the age. See how those red bars for China are all packed over on the left in the younger age groups? So it's not just a bigger fleet, it is a dramatically newer and more modern one.
And if that new fleet has a crown jewel, this is it, the Type 096. This sub isn't just an upgrade, we're talking about a massive leap forward in capability. They've poured advanced stealth technology into it to make it quieter, closing a technology gap with the West that used to be enormous. And this, right here, is the key takeaway. Because of its new long-range missiles, the Type 096 completely redraws the strategic map. China doesn't need its subs to sneak out into the open Pacific anymore to threaten the U.S. homeland. They can do it from their own backyard. And for American defense planners, that changes absolutely everything.
Okay, so let's switch gears and talk about Russia. They're facing some economic challenges, so they can't really compete boat for boat. Instead, they've gone for an asymmetric strategy. They're focused on turning their most advanced submarines into undersea arsenals, armed with a devastating array of missiles.
And the centerpiece of that strategy is the Yasen-M class submarine. This boat is a real shift in Russian thinking. It's less of a pure hunter-killer, designed just to hunt other subs. It's more of a submerged battleship, capable of just overwhelming targets on land or at sea with sheer brew firepower. And that firepower includes the usual suspects like Caliber and Onyx cruise missiles. But the real game changer here is the Zircon. The ability to launch hypersonic missiles. We're talking weapons moving at more than 5 times the speed of sound from a stealthy submarine creates a threat that is incredibly difficult to defend against, even for the most advanced Navy.
So, the big question is, how is the United States responding to all of this? Well, it's doubling down on its classic advantage, technology. The whole U.S. strategy is to counter the growing numbers of its rivals by fielding the single most advanced and capable submarines in the world.
And this submarine is the heart of that response, the Virginia class, specifically the new Block V version. These boats are widely seen as the most advanced attack subs ever put in the water, combining incredible stealth with amazing sensors and mission flexibility.
But the defining feature of this new Block V is something called the Virginia Payload Module, or VPM.
What they're doing is literally cutting the submarine in half and adding an 84-foot-long section into its hull. This one change boosts its missile capacity from just 12 Tomahawks all the way up to 40. That massive increase in firepower is crucial to replacing older submarines that are on their way to retirement.
Okay, so all of this, the new subs, the bigger fleets, the deadlier missiles, it brings us to the most important point. This three-way race has fundamentally changed undersea warfare. The old rules where being silent was everything are being totally rewritten. The ocean just isn't a safe place to hide anymore. Which leads to a really critical question, right? For decades, we've heard that the US advantage comes from having the quietest subs in the world. So if that's still true, how can they even be challenged? Well, the answer is that China is trying to change the environment itself. They're trying to make stealth obsolete. They're building what military planners call undersea bastions. Essentially, China is trying to turn its coastal waters into a transparent, monitored battle space. Think of it like turning on all the lights in a dark room. They're laying down huge networks of seabed sensors and using powerful sonar to flood the area with sound, all with one goal: to make the water so full of data that even the quietest submarine can't hide. And this new reality is forcing the US Navy to completely flip its playbook on its head. For generations, the motto for submariners was to operate alone and unafraid, to be a ghost in the water. The new doctrine is the polar opposite. It's called getting noisier. To survive inside these sensor-filled zones, American subs can't just hide anymore. They have to actively fight for control. Now, getting noisier doesn't mean the subs themselves are making a racket. Not at all. It means they're bringing a team to the fight. They'll send out uncrewed underwater drones to scout ahead, use powerful jammers to blind enemy sonar, and launch sophisticated decoys to create ghost targets. The whole idea is to actively fight back against those sensor networks to clear a path for the main submarine. It is a completely new way of fighting. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. The old era of pure, untouchable stealth seems to be ending. This new era is all about actively suppressing your enemy's ability to find you. And in this new, far more complex and dangerous undersea battle, it's no longer clear who's going to come out on top. Thank you for joining us on the Global Warwatch Network. If you found this explainer valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. And join us on social media. The links for that are in the description below.